Welcome to Lex D, the web show where I'm ill as fuck on New Year's Day, having worked all New Year's Eve, and am now so tired that I think I can see through time. This sounds like Harmony Fireworks, and it's a fucking pile of garbage. Let's get the show on the road.
I know we're only 15, but you mean the world to me, and I am ready for tonight.
If this was a test designed to make me hate your band, then congratulations, because Sounds Like Harmony have just fucking passed with flying colours. I mean, what is this wishy-washy bullshit? It wouldn't really even fit on a Hawthorne Heights album. It's got so little level of balls. I'm going to stop talking so quick because I'm wheezing like a motherfucker because my chest is fucked at the moment. But hey, got my beer, got my camera, got something to fucking hate on. I mean, Sounds Like Harmony. We've got this whiny... I know we're only 15, but you mean the world to me, and I am ready for tonight. Intro. Sorry, I went a bit flat at the end there. 15. They're 15, apparently. This is a song about being 15. So I'm hoping this is like, I don't know, he's asked her out to the school dance or something like that. You know, he's keen on holding their hand, you know. But let's be fair. We all know where this is going. We all know it's not going to end up in a good place. Don't we? Don't we? Shall we see if we're right? Let's see if we're right. Being a vocalist, I sometimes kind of skip along the instrumentals on these reviews, and that's something that I'm really going to try and make an effort not to do. So let's just talk about what we just heard there. That piano bullshit that sounded like a rejected take from Miss You by Blink-182, which is a shit song as well, which you all know if you saw my previous list. The one, actually, I think that was one of the ones that fucking Warner Music Group took down. I need to sort that out. Anyway. So we got this plinky-plonky bullshit piano with the most ballless, gatless guitars, and then some fucking feedback thing going on in the background. Anyone feel motivated or moved by this yet? No? Didn't think so. So yeah, Sounds Like Harmony. Don't really sound like Harmony at the moment. They sound like a really fucking shitty keyboard riff.
Here we are, all alone, and I'm sliding off your clothes.
Really? 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 Really?
Really?
Really? This dude is not fucking 15. Those tattoos on those kneecaps kind of give the game away. Apart from the fact that, you know, he looks like fucking Lurch got an emo haircut. I know I shouldn't pick on people's appearance and things like that. But, I mean, you can tell pretty much everything about this song just from looking at this guy. He's a bandwagon jumper, man. He wants to fucking appeal to 15-year-old girls, 14, 15-year-old girls. So he's writing this song that's going to make the ones who have had sex feel validated by it because it makes it like fucking super special and things like that. And the ones who haven't just be like, oh, he's so dreamy. He would be so romantic. The problem is the first lines proper without the sort of chorus intro bit that you've got are, here we are all alone and I'm taking off your clothes. Nothing to do with anything that's in her mind. Nothing to do with the fact that they've been planning on doing this for a while. They've been in a committed relationship or whatever. Essentially, he just wants to get to the good bit. And I mean, this dude, he looks like he must be... We're not going to say he's as old as I am, because I'm old as fuck by this point. He's probably 21, 22, maybe 23. But you just kind of think, yeah, dude. You're not really talking about some 15-year-old girl when you were 15, are you? You're talking about some 15-year-old girl 6 weeks ago. Because, let's face it, this dude's a little bit Ian Watkins, isn't he? He's probably libelous. Don't give a fuck. Dude comes across like a massive fucking creeper. And they can put some other dude in the video and have him wandering around under this pier, you know, sitting there, hugging his tattooed kneecaps. But you ain't going to convince me that this is not this dude's forte. Women who were a lot younger than him. Don't know what the age of consent is where he is. Don't give enough of a fuck about him to actually Google them, find out where they're based. but I'm going to assume it's somewhere in the States. So for expediency's sake, let's say that the age of consent there is 17, because I think in most states it is. It's either 17 or 18. Can't really think of any states in America where it's 15. So, you know, just wants to fuck a 15-year-old girl, doesn't he? Lovely. Do you think you can get any creepier than that? Anyway, let's get on with this bullshit.
I hope tonight is the night where we finally get this right.
And by getting this right, of course, he means getting her fucking minge. Lovely. That's what getting it right is, you know? Fucking her. Cheers for that, you fucking cocklord.
Right, I kiss your lips, you hold your breath, and I can taste your innocence. I hope your mom's not coming home, 'cause we're both dead if she ever knows.
The temptation really here is just to repeat that this guy sounds like a fucking paedophile, because he sounds like a fucking paedophile. I hope your mom's not coming home, because she's dead if she ever knows. You know, okay, right, I get it. Maybe you get, like, disapproving parents who think people are moving too fast and stuff. But where I come from, if you have two 15-year-old kids who have sex with each other, no one really gives a fuck. Yeah, they're both under the age of consent, but the assumption is they probably consented to actually having sex with each other. And most people's parents don't freak out so much about it. They expect kids to be exploring each other's bodies and all that kind of shit. You know, it's when your hormones go crazy. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 16. But my girlfriend at the time had just turned 16. It was like a day or two afterwards. That was me losing my virginity. And she wasn't a virgin at the time. So she'd had sex before she was 16. No one would have given a fuck. For the most part, if you have a 15-year-old girl get pregnant by someone who's near enough her own age, no one really gives a fuck. You don't really see these people get prosecuted, you know? But just the delivery of this is creepy. Because he's doing this breathy fucking I'm a child vocal almost, you know. I hope your mom's not coming home, 'cause I'm dead if she ever knows. And he's doing everything in his power to sound like he's that age, when he clearly isn't. I don't think this is a good subject for a song, if I'm honest. Losing your virginity and things like that. Because the only people who are really going to write songs about this that are actually going to be heard are going to be people who are older than that age. And therefore, they just fall into this trap. They fall into this trap where they sound creepy. And Lurchy McEmo hair here sounds creepy. And again, the music is nothing, isn't it? It's a nothingness song. The whole focus of this is the vocals. And I could do these vocals quite easily. And my voice is completely different. I mean, my voice is fucked at the moment from being ill. You can tell listening to me, you know? Nose full of snot. Throat that feels like someone's taken a buzzsaw to it. So, you know, where are we at? Where are we at, dude? What are you doing, Sounds Like Harmony guy? Why did you write this song? And all it keeps coming back to for me is that he's trying to appeal to this demographic, the sort of black-veiled brides demographic, who listen to songs like this and see meaning in them, where anyone who has any experience of life whatsoever just goes, well, that's just bullshit. This song is not romantic. This song is not clever. This song doesn't really say anything about the human condition. All it really says is that Sounds Like Harmony guy liked fucking a 15-year-old.
I know I'm only 15, but you mean the world to me, and I am ready for tonight. I know I'm only 15, but I'd give you everything, and these fireworks will ignite.
You see, I have this fascination for like the dark side of humanity, so I watch a lot of documentaries on YouTube and things like that about stuff like racists and murderers and things like that. And one of the documentaries I watched recently was about like a paedophile unit who go around and they catch paedophiles. And the way this guy talks, or sings rather, reminds me of that. It's like he's grooming someone, you know? You mean the world to me, and these fireworks will ignite. He's talking about adult things in an almost childish way, you know? the fireworks igniting thing is kind of like, to me, that he's saying that he's going to, you know, make her come or whatever. And, you know, yeah, obviously, when you have sex, that's the kind of thing that you want to go for, you know, unless you're a complete selfish bastard. You want to make the person you're with come. But the focus here doesn't seem to be that he's wanting to, you know, make her feel good about herself, making her feel validated. You could argue that that might be the case. But, you know, these fireworks will ignite, to me, sounds like a really straight metaphor for making someone orgasm. That might just be my opinion, and it might be tainted by the fact that I really fucking hate this song. But, you know, that chorus, that whole chorus just feels like, I want to shoot my load. I want to shoot my load in you. Gonna make you feel good doing it. Come on, baby. Don't be a prude. Don't be a prude, you little 15-year-old girl. And that to me is really disturbing. Like I said, I don't think this is a good subject matter to write a song about, because I don't really think I can think of any way that you can make this not disturbing. Because the whole focus of this song is sex, and it's sex while you're underage. Just as a subject matter, it just doesn't work for me. Because there are some things you just shouldn't write songs about. And the weird thing is that quite often the stuff that you shouldn't write songs about are good experiences. My old band, I wrote songs about like familial abuse and songs about abortion and stuff like that. So really, really weighty topics. And I know other people have written songs about that kind of stuff as well. You know, everyone from, you know, Disturbed to Korn have written about like child abuse and things like that, to, you know, Prison Sex by Tool, which has some really, really brutal lines about that kind of stuff, because Maynard James Keenan was abused as a kid, you know. Or you've got like songs by someone like Stephen Wilson, you know, who writes really, really elegiac, beautiful songs that when you take them a certain way are about a serial killer. And I think you can do that a lot easier than you can do these kind of positive experiences that kind of fit outside the norm. In the same way that, you know, Smashing Pumpkins were a fantastic band, and then Billy Corgan did Zwan, which was like really happy stuff with Pazzo and Shantin, who ended up on bass in A Perfect Circle. And I think Geordie Osborne White might have been involved as well, Twiggy Ramirez. But they lasted an album because they did like happy music, and it didn't really connect with anyone because of the kind of style of what people were expecting before that. I just don't think this kind of subject matter works for music. I think if you're going to do alternative music, and this is attempting to be alternative, although this is poppier than a lot of pop music that I hear, this doesn't sound like it would be out of place being played through the PA before 5 Seconds of Summer go on. I think that's what they're called. You know, the really shitty manufactured pop punk band who make Busted look like fucking Rise Against. So, yeah, I just think this, as a concept, is very, very deeply flawed. You might disagree. You might think that there's scope for writing something like this and it working. But hey, you're watching me give my opinion, so I'm not going to censor my opinion in this respect. Let's get on anyway. That was the chorus. You know, they ramped the guitars up ever so slightly, but they still kind of were at the level of just floating there and not saying anything. Let's get on with the next bit.
I throw you on your bed, and I can feel your every breath upon my neck, 'cause you're so loud, and I can finally be proud to be your first and your last.
So ignoring the video for a second, which has these two very pretty teens, but I would say late teens, because both of them seem to be quite heavily tattooed as well, you know, being all lovey-dovey and stuff under this pier. And maybe this is just me taking that section in isolation, making it sound worse. But go through this and listen to it. Go through that bit that I just played and listen to it in the context that he's raping her. Is that not what it sounds like? He throws him... He throws her, rather. Could be a him, I suppose, but I don't think it's intended to be. He throws her on the bed, and he's proud to be her first and last. And what it makes me think is either A, he's incredibly possessive, and he's trying to get that across, the idea that they're going to be together forever. Which, okay, yeah, a lot of songs are like, you know, I found the love of my life and things like that. But realistically speaking, when you're 15, you haven't found the love of your life. I can't really think of anyone who I know who was in a relationship that young who's still in that relationship now. People change, people grow. So to provide that as an actual thematic device is horribly unrealistic and very arrogant as well. So he's going to be the first and the last, and he throws her onto the bed, which is quite a violent act in itself. You know, you can hear her every breath. To me, that kind of sounds like she's in terror. She's afraid of this guy. And first and last, the likelihood there for me that this person would be their first and their last, it seems much more plausible to me that he's going to fucking strangle her afterwards and bury her in a shallow grave somewhere. Probably not fair to infer that, but the first time I heard that, I winced because that's how I picked up on it. But hey, we're through the next verse without, again, anything to do with their relationship, anything to do with anything other than the fact that he's going to fuck her tonight.
Your first and your last. Close your eyes and don't look back. Just say that you love me so, 'cause it's all I really need to know. I know we're only 15, but you mean the world to me, and I am ready for tonight. I know we're only 15, but I give you everything, and these fireworks will ignite. I've been waiting my whole life for this, and here I thought we were only kids, but we're growing up so fast. I've been waiting my whole life for this, just one chance to never look back and give it all away for
Sorry. Laughing not so good when I'm this ill. But you heard that. You heard that at the end. For you. And that was a hilarious bit because, you know, you can tell that what he's doing is he's doing this little falsetto bit to try and make it sound more meaningful and romantic and stuff like that. Lots of bands do it. Because it works. It's a good device. Except he just misses the mark so much here. And, you know, the first time that we get double layered vocals on this is he's singing the chorus and then he sings in the background of it, to lose it, which he's talking about virginity. Fair enough, he's talking about his own virginity, but again, this is a song about losing your virginity, and it's creepy because it talks about it in an adult way. So it's talking about the sexual aspect of it. It's not talking about the sort of fear or the trepidation, or, you know, it's not even talking about the worry that you won't be adequate enough. You know, when I was a virgin, I was terrified that, you know, I'd have a small cock and she'd hate it and I'd finish in 5 seconds. You know, as it happened, none of those things were the case. But that's what kids really go through, that experience. You've got, in this scenario, you have this like super confident guy who's just been waiting his entire life to lose his virginity. It seems really selfish. You know, he's singing this song about how these fireworks are going to ignite. And like I said before, it seems like he's really singing about him popping his cork. I don't think that's a good message to be sending to people. I think it's like one of those things where, you know, kids get skewed by stuff like this. And I'm not trying to, you know, denigrate 15-year-olds and say they don't know anything about life and blah, 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 blah. And I might get 15-year-old girls or 15-year-old boys coming in and going, you're just taking the piss out of us, we know more than you think you do. But I know a hell of a lot now at 29 that I didn't know when I was 15. I don't regret anything about losing my virginity. It's certain. You know, if I was 15, or when I was 15, and if some girl had really wanted to fuck me, yeah, absolutely. I was a big bag of hormones, and, you know, that's just what I wanted to do. You know, it was a pretty fucking driving force for me. But I think the weird thing about virginity is it's a really important thing while you have it. And then when you lose it, you actually realise it's not that important altogether. This oversells it. This oversells it, and it oversells it in a really selfish way. Like, there's nothing about her in it apart from this kind of implication that she's afraid of it. But it's going to happen anyway, so it's great. That just sits badly with me. It really sits badly with me. And you know, like I said before, this could have been such an easy video to just go, he's a paedophile, and make loads of paedophile jokes about him, and talk about Gary Glitter and Ian Watkins and Jimmy fucking Saville. Now then. I just think this is bad. This whole thing is badly constructed, badly thought out, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I find it more objectionable than the real rock star bullshit that we've covered before with, like, Falling in Reverse. Because it feels like it's selling a bill of goods that isn't correct or isn't kosher, or however you want to put it, you know. It's faulty in a way. If you're going to write a song about something like this, make it have some depth to it. Make it have some sort of impetus or some sort of slant on it that's going to make it a worthwhile listen to anyone who listens to it. This has all the depth of the puddle that I walked through coming back from work today, tired out of my mind. Didn't even notice it was there. That's the thing, in a way you can kind of look at this as a missed opportunity, because this band could have come along and written a really coherent and personal and meaningful song about losing your virginity and all the fears and all the hopes and all the emotions that are wrapped up in this, and they're so concentrated on the mechanics and the way that it made this guy feel that it doesn't work. The fireworks erupting is the cum shot. It's distasteful, man. It's really distasteful.
Everything in these fireworks, and these fireworks will ignite.
So that was Sounds Like Harmony and Fireworks, and I'm going to keep this short and sweet because I'm pretty ill and I kind of want to just leave this to render and go to bed, although I really shouldn't sleep yet. What can I really say about this? You know, as a summary, the summary that I've got is that instrumentally it's boring, vocally it's something that you could replicate if you have even a half-decent singing voice. There's nothing really particularly interesting about that. The focus of it seems to be that it's a vehicle for this lurchy Makimo hair, like I've called him already, don't know what his name is, don't really care, to propel himself into the minds and hearts of young girls. And you know, I was looking at the video before when I was, you know, ripping it off the net and all that kind of stuff, and it's got 750,000 views, and most of the feedback on it is positive, although a lot of it talks about something that happens at the end of the video that I'm not even going to bother putting in because it means nothing to me. Something about, like, some guys coming along and putting in the word Connie into the heart that they've drawn on the sand. Connie spelled Khonnie. I'm sure someone will come along in the comments and explain that to me. It must be some sort of emo trend thing or some sort of concept or something that I just don't get, because I'm an old bastard, really. You know, nearly 30. It's not intended for me. And yeah, the issue that I have with it is that, first of all, first impressions, he comes across like he's a pedo. Because he's singing this song as a child when he's an adult. And he's doing it in such a way that he's trying to be a child as much as possible, but he's focusing on the mechanics of it. So it's quite clear that the person who's singing it is not a virgin and hasn't been a virgin for a long time. I suppose that's the disconnect with it, you know, there's that point where it doesn't quite meet. So you have that difficulty. And then it's being targeted at this demographic who are, you know, into Black Veil Brides and into the demographic that would have been into Hawthorne Heights a few years ago. You know, it's targeted at kids, essentially. It's targeted at people who haven't had that experience yet. And it sends out this message that the actual important thing is the fact that the guy's really excited about it and he's going to get to pop his cork. Finally, he's going to get to, you know, bust his nut inside some lithe little teenage girl's vagina. It shouldn't be about that. I might have said that virginity is not that important because, you know, even people who have a bad experience with it afterwards, it doesn't really impact them all that much. You know, it might be awkward and it might be slightly scary and it might be slightly uncomfortable and, you know, there might be blood and blah, 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 blah. But once you get past that hurdle, it becomes less important. And I think the thing with this is it's taking too much of an attitude that the important part of it is not the really important part of it. And really the important part of it is how you feel about losing your virginity. And this is about how he feels about it. And it completely disregards her in it. And I don't know, man. There is so many things that just raise red flags for me where this is concerned that I find really difficult to actually articulate. And that might be because I'm ill and I'm tired. Let's be fair. And I wanted to get this done so that we can have a video for New Year's and we can bust in the new year with a new LDO and we can go from there and rise to heights where I waffle less and I talk faster and I don't make so many pauses and I don't repeat myself so much. So that sounds like harmony. That's fireworks. And it's a disposable piece of nonsense that kind of upsets me a little bit. And I would really hope that the people who happen to maybe have listened to this song, who then come and find this, take in what I've said and they ignore the swearing and they ignore the more controversial or libelous things that I've said, you know, like comparing him to Ian Watkins and things like that. And they just take away from this that lose your virginity on your terms. Don't lose it because you think that the guy that you're with or the girl that you're with is super keen for you to do that. It's not about them, it's about you. My name's Lex. This has been Lex Dixon. You can find me on Facebook. There'll be a link in the description down there. You can subscribe down there as well. Go and find me on Facebook. Send me things that you want me to dick on. I've got another couple of things that I need to do, and I might even diversify away from music and rope in one of my friends to help me and do something a little bit different. But you know what? We got there. We got through this. Happy 2016, motherfuckers. See you soon. Peace and fucking believe.